This video will provide an overview of our new explicit pelvis slip-ring feature in Oasys 21. Before I start explaining the pelvis slip-ring enhancement for version 21, I want to give you a quick overview of the seatbelt fitting tool in Primer. In brief, the process requires 4 steps. Firstly, to define the structural entities to which the belt will be fitted to. Then a set of basic path points need to be defined. The third step is to fit the belt around the structure, creating a tight and well-fitted belt. And lastly, the meshing of the fitted belt. This 4-step process is the standard workflow of the seatbelt fitting tool in Primer. A typical 3-point automotive seatbelt will have a slip ring near the shoulder and the pelvis area that affect the shape of the belt. There are various options for modeling slip rings in Primer, but the most realistic are explicitly meshed slip rings. However, using explicitly meshed slip rings can be tricky and time-consuming, as it is difficult to fit the belt through the small slip ring slot. It can also be hard to predict the natural position of the pelvis slip ring, which previously required manual readjustment after an initial fitting and a repetitive fitting process. In Primer 21, working with explicitly meshed pelvis slip rings was made significantly easier, speeding up the process of creating an initial belt path and fitting the belt around a naturally positioned pelvis buckle. The version 21 enhancement simplifies 3 key pain points when working with explicitly meshed pelvis slip rings. Firstly, the quick fit function will position the initial belt path within the slip ring slot, making it much easier to generate a basic belt path. Secondly, it's hard to predict the natural position of the pelvis slip ring. In Primer version 21, the pelvis buckle can find its natural position during the fitting process. And the last addition is the ability to create database cross-sections around the pelvis buckle. I will explain all of these enhancements in more detail now, but I just want to mention that these tools are also available for the shoulder slip ring. The Quick Adjust tool allows you to easily modify the basic belt path to fit through a narrow slip ring slot. It used to be difficult and time-consuming to manually fit the belt through narrow slots, but this tool automatically adjusts the basic belt path. I will demonstrate how to use this new feature in Primer. Here you can see the Primer seatbelt tool with a basic belt path already defined. We still need to fit the basic belt path through the pelvis buckle slot. We can do this using the new Quick Adjust tool, which can be accessed through the slip ring panel. At the bottom of the new explicit pelvis slip ring panel, the Adjust button will fit the belt through the narrow slip ring slot. Pressing Adjust will generate 2 basic path points around the pelvis buckle, with the belt going through the center of the slot. This speeds up the generation of complex belt paths through the pelvis buckle. The Undo button will reset the path if required. The second pelvis buckle enhancement is the automatic rotation of the buckle in 2 directions during the fitting process. The first direction is a rotation around a pivot point, centering the belt in the slip ring slot to avoid the belt penetrating the slip ring structure. The second rotation direction is the sideways rotation, rotating the stalk and buckle towards the dummy until it makes contact with the structure. Combining both rotations will lead to a natural pelvis buckle positioning during the fitting process. In this model, the pelvis buckle is in an unnatural upright position. Using the new automatic repositioning feature, the pelvis buckle can rotate in both directions during the fitting process. During fitting, the buckle will move in the forwards direction to keep the belt centered within the slot. After 100 iterations, the rotation mode will switch to the sideways rotation, and the buckle will rotate towards the dummy. The rotational mode will switch every 100 iterations, ensuring that the belt is centered within the slip ring slot, and the buckle will move towards a more natural position close to the dummy. The fully fitted belt can be seen here. The pelvis buckle has made contact with the dummy and centered the belt within the slip ring slot. The result is a well-fitted belt for a natural pelvis buckle position. The last pelvis buckle enhancement is the automatic generation of database cross-section cards on both sides of the pelvis buckle by ticking a single checkbox in the explicit slip ring panel. This simplifies the creation of database cross-section cards in the pelvis area. Thank you.